Today on Built to Last, exploring the craft and craftsmen, putting our vets back to work, and Rosie's legions march on.
When I went on the job site as a journeyman, everybody assumed I was an apprentice.
I've always broke the rules when it comes to what a female can do.
Pick up a hammer. It's time for Built to Last. Built to Last is brought to you by the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Labor and Management Committee and Armstrong Ceilings. Faster, easier, better.
Welcome to Built to Last. I'm Monica Peterson.
And I'm Mark Nilsson. As our military heroes return from their tours of service, they're trading in their helmets for hard hats. Find out how one special program is helping the vets.
And later, we'll get to see how the skills of carpenters and classically trained musicians come together to make beautiful music.
Our first story would make Rosie the Riveter beam with pride.
And hear us roar as women take on the trades with vigor and in the process help push our country forward. Right now on Built to Last.
In the face of inordinate obstacles, women have always been an essential part of the American workforce.
There were some really important moments that gave us a boost in the workforce. World War I and II.
After the Industrial Revolution, when men had to go off to war, all the women had to pick up the slack and go and work in the factories and more into the trades.
My own grandmother worked in a canning factory and was kicked out of that job when the war was over. But while the war was going, and they were canning up all kinds of food, for the war, as a matter of fact. She had steady work and she loved it. I believe that if women were incapable and didn't want to do that work, we would have been in serious trouble during the war. We pulled our butts out of the fire there.
Women on the assembly line not only aided in the war effort, but also kept the economy going. And the American story has always been enriched by the efforts of strong women.
I've always broke the rules when it comes to what a female can do.
I'm aware that we stand on the shoulders of all the women before us.
We like to say, we will stand on each other's shoulders, but you better throw down a hand to reach and grab somebody else.
After I graduated from college, a not-for-profit organization called Sunbow helped get me into the Carpenter's Apprentice program. I would have never been able to find my way without the apprentice program.
While women have been a driving force in the economy, their path to secure professional equality has been wrought with difficulty.
Well, as far as being a woman in the trade, it's had its ups and downs, it's challenging.
When I went on the job site as a journeyman, everybody assumed I was an apprentice.
There's some that want to do my job for me.
I worked with some of the older guys who were, they were accepting, but more like I was their daughter.
And don't realize that I can do it myself.
But then I worked with some guys who just really absolutely just didn't have any use for women on the job site.
It's not really that bad of a deal. I can do anything that you can.
Today, I think a lot of the younger guys are just more accepting. It's just not a big issue for them. I do think women today still have to, do more work to prove themselves, and that's on every job they go on.
The men who are doing the same work as you are getting paid far more.
In the face of these challenges, hard work has borne results. In 2009, for instance, the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act aided the effort to achieve pay equity. Women are gaining more of a foothold in the workplace.
Under the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, although it's good and it's a step in the right direction, at the pace that we're going, it won't be till about the year 2020 that we actually receive parity, where if they were part of a union contract today, they would get the rate regardless. If you do the work, you get the rate. It doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, gay, straight, race, age, sex, religion, national origin, disability. It doesn't matter. If you do the work, you get the rate. That's the beauty of a union contract.
There's definitely an uptick of women trying to get into the trades. It's great money, it's great benefits, and I know starting out as a first-year apprentice, the guy next to me, who's also a first-year apprentice, I know we're making the same wage.
When I was a teacher, it was a lot more difficult for me to obtain equal pay versus a man. When I joined the union, I was always guaranteed equal pay.
That union levels the playing field for women, and allows us to, make that decent wage. It's very important.
This isn't the same workforce that we had 20 years ago. Women in the trade are needed.
Organizations such as Chicago Women in Trades and the National Association of Women in Construction are working hard to introduce more women into the trades.
I did the 9-week free apprenticeship with Chicago Women in Trades. They went to each trade so each woman could try to figure out what they were good at and what they would like to pursue. And they also helped with math. So they really just prepare you for being in any trade that you choose to go into.
I've always loved carpentry. I never knew how to get involved and make a career out of it. And next week I will be starting with a company and I will become a first-year apprentice cabinet maker.
Well, I've always really liked building and seeing projects come from start to finish. Something that I had a large interest in growing up, helping Dad build on the stuff that he was working on. I go home just as tired as my husband, who's an operator. I still cook and I still do all the dishes and help kids with their homework. And it's a joint effort.
We make that mark.
Any program that the carpenters have, from residential, commercial, concrete, pile driver, cabinet maker, there is a spot for women and it's encouraged.
You represent more when you go into a non-traditional field like that. You become somebody else to your family, somebody different.
It's a good sense of pride going home knowing that I've done a hard day's work and made a good living to help out my family.
My son knows all the buildings where I build. We go down the highway and he knows there's a lot of pride in that. I love being able to say, I did that, as if I built the whole building by myself. I say it like that.
It's amazing to look back on the day and go, wow, look at what we did.
When you're in the trades, that's a big deal, right? You can see what you did.
I got this new gig in Milan, and it's called an opera house. And you know what? They have 600 people.
At Armstrong Ceiling and Wall Solutions, we take great pride in making a positive difference in the lives of people. With the broadest portfolio in the industry and the technical performance to back it up, you can design and install with confidence. Our ceiling construction expertise, training, and pre-engineered ceiling solutions make it easy for you to seamlessly transition from one end of the building to the other. Improve construction efficiencies and keep every job on time, on budget, and on the mark with Armstrong Ceiling and Wall Solutions. Faster, easier, better.
Keeping restaurants and hotels up to date with the latest design trends is a constant challenge. Finding qualified contractors isn't at finishingchicago.com. We work with top designers and general contractors who use the latest painting, drywall finishing, and wall covering techniques in Chicagoland's premier hotels and restaurants. The hospitality industry relies on finishingchicago.com as its free resource to find quality finishing contractors. For a great finish, start with finishingchicago.com.
Welcome back to Built to Last. The trades are committed not only to building our country, but also to protecting our planet. That's why now, more than ever, you'll find green building materials and techniques on the job site.
Sustainability, green, those are very important to everyone today. You're starting to hear, high performance buildings. And the best type of conservation when it comes to energy is to not need energy.
It just so happens that, that green design and green architecture isn't just great because it's the right thing to do. Certainly it reduces our carbon footprint, but actually, particularly over the last decade, the innovation within that space is leading to smarter buildings, more effective buildings.
The United States Green Building Council rates the sustainable design and intelligent environmental performance of buildings through the rating system called LEED.
If you look back at the first municipally owned building which attained LEED certification, it was the Chicago Center for Green Technology. And that certification for LEED Platinum was received in 2003. So you fast forward from 2003, we're 2017, we're nearly at 100 projects with certifications. The belief in sustainable design has to start from the beginning. And I think that cultural shift is occurring now.
whether it's reducing our carbon footprint, whether it's cost-driven and reducing our actual cost for operating and managing a building, looking at reducing or managing how we maintain public buildings. There's lots of different factors that we think about.
So it's all about making sure that whatever we're building is going to be done right, done efficiently with the materials that we have.
We have a very unique relationship with the general trades, specifically the Carpenters Union.
We're involved in so many different crafts that people never recognize, all the way from the beginning of the foundations to the final lock and key in the door. And people have the perception that carpenters just pound nails.
We rely on their professionalism, we rely on their expertise, and having perspective as to what goes into training those tradespeople, those men and women that work on our project sites.
With these new LEED buildings that are going up, it's critical for us to make sure that our apprentices understand, hey, this is the proper way to do things.
The Carpenters Union has invited us to their shop. They've shown us their facilities. They've shown us all of the training that they put into it.
If you go out to the training center, it is mesmerizing. It is a whole community within itself.
You have over 6,000 hours of training, both on the job and in the classroom.
We teach how to install the moisture barriers and the air barriers. They're taught the proper overlaps, the nailing patterns, how to complete it, how to work around some penetrations, what happens if we come into a window or a door opening. And once we have that window or door opening fixed with our moisture barrier, then we show them how to install a window properly.
Along with responsible building practices, the carpenters are trailblazers when it comes to eco-friendly products.
Spray foam is the coolest product on earth. It is sprayed on and it's monolithic. Monolithic meaning there are no seams. So it goes on wet, it expands, and it's manufactured on site so that you are able to install the appropriate amount that is needed for the appropriate R value for the project.
R value measures the capacity of an insulating material to resist heat flow, and proper material usage leads to greater energy efficiency. The Carpenters Union and their training center were amongst the first to recognize the value of spray foam.
We teach the hazards of it. We show them the proper installation methods. Spray foam is really going to eventually replace fiberglass. It does two-in-one. It does the thermal and it does the air barrier. So those two barriers can make the building extremely energy efficient. We're not going to have to use energy in order to reheat or recool the building.
Through their high standard of training and embrace of new eco-friendly products and methodology, the Carpenters Union is setting new standards in sustainability.
That's important to the council and myself as well. It's what we should be doing.
There's all these other side benefits that come out of green and smart design, and I think we're beginning now to really see the peripheral benefits.
I love learning how to make things better. It's like, okay, well, we did a great job on this project. The next time we're in this situation, how can we make it better?
It's got to be a collaborative effort where we continue that education, continue the awareness, implement the lessons learned. What things that we do now are much different than they were in 2003.
Green architecture, green design in public spaces is really important, especially if we care about sustainability. Number one, because it becomes the learning lab or the showcase for what that can look like and how it can manifest itself.
So it may seem that one project can't make a difference, but 100 projects have made a difference, and 1,000 projects will make a bigger difference.
In 2017, Massachusetts led the nation with 3.73 square feet of LEED certified space per resident.
The journey to craftsmanship starts with the basics. Eventually, the craftsman's skills build to a crescendo, where artistry and functionality become seamless.
We have our mortise and our tenon.
At the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Apprentice and Training Program, the pre-apprentices are taught that form must dovetail with function.
When I designed it, I wanted to make sure that it was functional, sturdy, with our mortise and our tenons in the top and our shoulders.
It's a core principle, and it's taken to heart in order to be successful in their craft.
As soon as humans started inhabiting houses, they needed places to put their things. We take our span, which is our width, which is 15.5 inches, and we're gonna take our rise, which is 3 inches. The most fulfilling part of woodwork for myself personally is Being able to take a pile of boards or panels and turn them into something that's functional, beautiful, and will be around a lot longer than I am. When I cut a board, I'll be the first person to actually see what that board looks like. When I put it together with another board, I see how it flows, I see how the grain matches, how the color matches. You could have a tree that grows on the top of a ridge in the forest and a tree that's 100 feet away in a creek, and they're totally different. One could be perfectly straight, textbook red oak, and next one could have all kinds of figuring and mineral colors and streaks. Here at the school, we use what is available, but depending on the type of project, some materials are more durable, hardwood versus softwood, material thickness, different strengths, different qualities of each type of species of wood. We produce cabinet makers to work for somebody who tells you what to build. So if I'm the boss and one of my project managers sells a job, that project manager gives the foreman a set of drawings. We'll put our template directly on top of our board, and we'll route our board to the exact size of our template. We're gonna make sure that we color match and grain match. Apprentices are taught to work within 1/32 of an inch. They're taught to make things square. Things have to grain match, color match. Edges have to be filed precisely. If things don't fit naturally together, or if they don't flow throughout an elevation, your eye picks that up, so things have to flow, and that flow comes through the detail. No matter if it's plastic laminate where you're filing an edge for an exhibit, or if you're installing high-end residential cabinets. Form has to follow function. You can make something that's beautiful, but if it doesn't work, it's pretty much useless.
And that marriage of form and function is paramount, whether you're crafting a stool or a fine stringed instrument.
We're hand workers, we're craftsmen. We take wood from literally timber to a finished product. It all depends on handwork, making the right choices in terms of wood, of the particular qualities of the wood, strengths of the wood can change the sound dramatically. For us, crafting an instrument isn't the only part that's important. It's our expression of ourselves, which is why we're artisans and artists in what we do. There's a lot of people who know how to make an instrument. The difference between our shop and most every other shop is that we do this for a living. One of the challenges we have is figuring out what the market needs in professional instruments. So we're always trying to stay attuned to changes in musicianship and the quality of musicians and their needs and wants. Take Stradivari, for instance. One of the reasons why he became the craftsman that he did was his consciously being a part of the evolution of music. You know, he had 4 very distinct periods of his work. But each one of those changes in his style were for one reason, and that was volume. He wasn't looking at his violin and thinking, oh, this is a beautiful thing and I'm going to try to make it more beautiful. He was thinking, my customers need a product. And you know, somebody comes to Tony Stradivari's shop and says, hey Tony, I love that violin I bought from you in 1670, but you know, I got this new gig in Milan and it's called an opera house, and you know what, they have 600 people, and I used to be in Prince George's court. Hey, you know, there was 30 or 40 people there. So if they could hear me better, we could get more people in there and we'll make more money. And what did he do? He went back, he thought about it. What can I do? I can make it longer, I can make it wider, I can change the shape in order to produce more sound. He made the physical changes to the instrument that helped them evolve to a contemporary instrument. And he was at the forefront in Italy of the changes in music. So it was really an important part of what he did, and we feel that's a really important part of what we do. We are in the forefront of how music is changing and how the skills of players are changing to meet those new needs.
Transitioning out of the military was probably harder than actually being there.
When I came home, I would shake. Stabila, for over 125 years, has led the industry in measuring and leveling. Still manufactured in Germany since 1865, tradesmen rely on Stabila every day for its precision and durability. We continue to revolutionize the way we build with our lasers, levels, and laser distance measuring tools on commercial and residential job sites around the world. Stabila, how true pros measure.
Meet the new family of Blaze laser measures from Bosch. Go ahead, turn it on and start measuring. It's that simple. The Blaze family offers a wide range of functions to tackle any measuring job. Extend your reach with accuracy up to a 1/16 of an inch. With Bluetooth-enabled devices, easily transfer measurements to your smartphone or tablet with free Bosch apps. Reach farther, work faster, and stay accurate with the Bosch Blaze family of laser measures. Measure on.
Our resident veteran Rob North brings us a story about how the Carpenters serve those who served our country.
Thank you, guys. While there is no shortage of well-earned respect for our returning veterans, as a society, we could always do more. While it's easy to say thank you for your service, actions will always speak louder than words. The soldiers of this great nation are remarkable individuals. Throughout our history, they have answered the call to serve with bravery, intrepidness, and a sense of adventure, often cultivated from a young age.
I grew up on a healthy diet of Full Metal Jacket and G.I. Joe, and that's what I wanted. By the time I was 11, I was writing letters to the Marine Corps.
As far back as I can remember, probably about at the age of 3, I wanted to do what my dad did. You know, I wanted to serve. I wanted to go fight for my country.
Since 2001, our country has been involved in military conflict abroad, and the members of our armed forces have served through the most difficult of circumstances, with distinction and honor.
Being in Afghanistan was kind of surreal for me. I never thought, oh, I'd be here or I'd end up being in combat.
I would tell a lot of my guys, my younger guys, you know, you're already dead. Don't worry about getting shot, don't worry about dying. If it happens, it's gonna happen and it's probably gonna suck, but just do your job.
And the challenges don't end when their deployments are over.
Transitioning out of the military was probably harder than actually being there.
So I got so addicted to the rush of being in a firefight that when I came home, I would shake. And it was a big internal struggle.
You know, that was my job. I was there to do my job and that was it.
When I went to the VFW, I was not well.
Returning to civilian society can be difficult. Too often, those serving and their families have disproportionately carried the burden of war.
So it took me a little while to integrate back and do socialization with people.
You just feel really out of place and you don't feel a commonality with anybody. And you know, it takes a while to work back into that.
These are proud people who are looking for an opportunity to work and serve.
The Chicago Regional Council is committed to hiring the heroes. We work along with the Helmets to Hard Hats with our veterans.
The Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Apprentice and Training Program offers a unique opportunity to join the trades and receive exceptional training as a carpenter at state-of-the-art facilities. Not only is it free of cost, but apprentices get paid while they learn, and veterans enrolled in the program can receive funds they earn through their GI Bill.
They earn that GI Bill, they can use it for their apprenticeship.
If a veteran comes in after he is taken and passed the test, we put them to the top of the list.
Because they served and they earned it, and they deserve it. We need to recognize the sacrifices they have made for our freedom.
Knowing that there's programs available out there, just that little bit of help is a good thing to know.
My cousin is a carpenter. He told me about the program, so I went out to the Union 250. They told me about the Helmets to Hard Hats, so they sponsored me and everything, and they told me to go to the school.
Helmets to Hard Hats online, it's a program for veterans that get them into construction trades, and it just so happened the day I went onto the website, I saw that the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters was taking applications.
As soon as they enter the program, the veterans begin on the path to their new career.
Just being back in the classroom environment was kind of a shocker to me.
And this distance here, right, we have to find that out.
You're learning a lot of stuff real fast, a lot of math. And I give guys to this job a lot of credit for that. I did not realize that coming into it. A lot of thinking, a lot of hard work.
But these vets are built for a challenge. And under the tutelage of the most qualified instructors, they are ready to engage.
056.
Working with the instructors are great. They're here to help you. They're always there to answer a question.
I enjoyed my instructors. The way they teach is a very firm but fair method.
They're very hands-on. They show you what to do. If you're struggling in math, they'll help you with the math. If you're struggling on a project, they'll help you with the project.
It isn't just the veterans who benefit, though. The UBC adds carpenters to their ranks who possess solid foundations and exemplify the union's best values.
The veterans that do come back and get involved in helmets to hard hats are some of the best we have.
First of all, they're our heroes, and second of all, they know what hard work is.
This person's already been disciplined. He understands that there's rules. He understands that he has to be on time.
They're disciplined, they're prompt, they get it.
Taking orders.
That get it done mentality, that definitely applies in this industry because it's a very demanding industry.
They're trained to work in groups, and that's what carpentry is. It doesn't take one person to build a building, it takes hundreds.
We formed bonds together. I didn't know these guys from Adam before I walked in here, and we're pretty tight now.
And my squad, my platoon, we were very close. We worked very well together.
And I learned skills here that could help me form a better team when I'm out on the workforce.
The trades respect all that our vets have done and are striving to ensure that as they leave one brotherhood, another is there to embrace them.
The Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters, it's a great program for veterans.
As a father of a Marine, I strongly feel that when they end their military career, that they have a viable career to go to.
A lot of jobs, if something happens to you, your boss says you're gone, you're gone. You really have no recourse. The union's the big brother. They're there to say, hold on a minute. We're watching out for this guy.
It gives me a good sense, knowing that somebody has your back.
Our veterans are our heroes. And if we can help them out with a career, if they're interested in carpentry, we're going to do the best we can to get them through our program.
The bravery of our veterans is on display, not only on the battlefield, but in how they are seizing the opportunities in their civilian lives. If you're a veteran who's interested in the program, please contact the United Brotherhood of Carpenters.
That's all for this episode of Built to Last.
And always be careful with your power tools. Safety is not a drill.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And stop using that. You are not trying.